Good morning to you. Good morning, Big Mac. You came on first. Love it. Come on, guys. Come on in, my Instagram family. Uh, Great to see you today. Okay, we in our 10 o'clock hour, a little bit over the 10 o'clock hour. So I'm going to go into our subject. I believe we are talking about something that is definitely important for your health and for mine, for your family and for mine, and for all those who will listen. So, welcome to Check In with Mama Wade, Better Health, Better Me. It's hosted by the Word of Life Voices. You can always go to my YouTube channel, and there you can be able to see all of the videos that I have done and continue to be a part of my YouTube audience. Is check the letter N with Mama Wade. And while you're there, please subscribe. Also, if you want to send me a comment, you can send it to my website, www.jolindawade.com. Yes. Hi, Cynthia Emanuel. I had to wait for my greetings before I can speak to you. Great to see you this morning. Good morning, Brenda. Always, always. Thank you once again for coming to hear the rest of this teaching today concerning hypertension, which is a very, very important subject that I'm glad the Spirit led me to talk about it. Okay, now, in order to get the fullness of what blood pressure is, you should go to my YouTube channel, and there you will see part one of yesterday's teaching, and it can bring you up to date to today's teaching. I don't think it's fair that I go back because I planned how I'm going to bring whatever subject I'm gonna bring for that particular day. So we are talking about high blood pressure. We're talking about hypertension. We're talking about how you can control it if you are one that have been diagnosed with that. And we're talking about if you do not have it, what you can do to prevent yourself and your family for suffering from this horrific disease. Hypertension is horrific. It's horrific. People do not want to put it in the category of chronic, but it is chronic. The things that it does to your body is beyond words. And it would take someone who suffers from the extreme high blood pressure to tell you how sometimes they can't even get out of bed in the morning. Sometimes it's hard for them to even be around the family, to run a house. Sometimes they feel like they just want to die. That's how chronic this particular disease we're talking about today is upon families and upon a human body. I am one that have high blood pressure, but I'm also one that have high blood pressure control. Control. Just a brief little story about me. When I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, I really didn't take it serious. I was in the mindset, doctor prescribed me some medicine. I take the medicine, and I'm going to be on this medicine for the rest of my life. Because high blood pressure runs in my family. So it's something that happens. That's the mindset that I was locked in. Do you see how suicidal that is? Do you see my ignorance in that space? Not knowing it's not even coming to my mind that I can take control of this thing that have gotten control of me. I wasn't born with high blood pressure, but it was, like I said, it was in that family line somewhere. My mother had it. My father was on blood pressure medication. I know, I took care of both of them. So it's in there, but I didn't have to get it to the max that I got it. If I had known that I could control this thing, if I keep my eyes on it, if I learn how to eat properly, and if I learn the right rules of living. I was not living the way, let me say it this way. I was not living in a healthy manner the way that I believe I should have been living. But I did get it. I did get on the medication. I'm actually still taking the medication now, along with knowledge now, using my wisdom. My goal, because it's important to set goals. My goal is to get off of pills, period. That's my goal. But in the meantime, we're going to deal with the big C word, control. Control. Learning how to control and conquer that thing that's controlling you. Wow. So that's my spiel. That's my story. I'm quite sure you have one on how you got this hypertension, this high blood pressure, how this thing came upon you. It might have not been through hereditariness, genetics. It might have not have been through that. It might have been through a couple of the other things that I named yesterday that you didn't know would bring this about your life. I guess I could name a few of them for the people who didn't get on yesterday. You remember we found out that hypertension is also precipitated by cigarette smoking. But I don't smoke, okay? Stress. Yeah, I do have a little stress, okay? Obesity. I'm not fat. Overweight. Well, yeah, I guess I'm overweight. Excessive use of stimulants. I don't use stimulants. Coffee. Tea. Excessive. Well, I do go and okay. Drug abuse. Oh, I don't do drugs. Maybe marijuana here today. Well, I might every now and then. Okay. High sodium intake. Well, I don't really do a lot of salt. We're going to talk about that. What about, contraceptives? Yeah, that blew me too when I was doing my research and I saw contraceptives. But you know what? Think about it. We know that number one, whatever contraceptive we're taking, it's an alien object that we're putting within ourselves, or it's this alien pills that we're taking down our bodies, and now we're telling our bodies that this naturally produces or do whatever it do, that it's a hold on you. I'm holding you up. So naturally, I'm believing that it do stress the body. It do stress the body, but we don't ask the question. When I'm taking this birth control pill, so what is this pill getting ready to do to my body? It's finna tell your body that, number one, it's foreign. God didn't put it there, right? Number two, it's coming in and it's finna stop something that's natural. So naturally, your body, by the cells and everything communicating, is like, what is this thing here? It's stressed. I can see it. I didn't understand it at first, but then I could see it. Some people I know back in my day, and you know, I'm 68 here and proud. But back in my day, when they was really getting people on the pills, is some people start bleeding profusely. And some they had to stop taking the pill because it had done something to their bodies. Some had the contraceptive that you put within inside of you. I believe it was the IUD. And I remember a girl in my classroom, right there in the class, she started bleeding. She was so embarrassed. We were in high school. And the teacher, everybody wanted to know what was going on with her. She was embarrassed, guess what? Because she felt like everybody know now that I'm having sex. And baby, listen, that's the least of our concern. Our concern was that you were bleeding. Let's get this taken care of. So the ambulance came, her mom, blah, 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 this and that. They got her to the doctor. She came back to school maybe a week or something later, and we let her know we loved her. That wasn't important. I told her that I already had a daughter. What? See, I got a kid. I had a kid when I was young. So, we became real good friends. Let her know, don't be ashamed of what's happening. You just didn't want no children at that time. That's what they were telling us. Take this birth control pill. You can control this. Put this IUD in. You can control this. But yes, I did digress. But yes, it can bring on hypertension. All right. Okay, so now let's get on to the ones who was in with me. That was just to tell you the ones that wasn't there yesterday, what we were talking about that would bring the hypertension on. Well, I went in and I did me another Google search, and I wanted to know, what is this? I did me another Google search, and I wanted to know how many people have high blood pressure. I said in the world. I wanted to be in the world, not just the United States of America, but the world, just to show you how this is a problem that crosses over. Hypertension is the leading preventable risk factor for cardiovascular disease. The leading preventable risk factor. And do you see that word there, preventable? So that let me know we can get control of this thing. It's preventable. We can get control of this thing or get in front of it. Okay, what else it says? It affects an estimated, are you ready? Hold on. 1.3 billion worldwide. And you tell me this is not a problem. You tell me this is not a problem. A problem that would take you out. But you just heard me read that it is preventable. It says killing approximately 10 million people every year. Something that we can get control of. Something that is really considered preventable. Where we can learn, especially if I'm talking to people that have high blood pressure. Let us learn what to do. Let us put it in practice. Let us watch and see the change that happened within our own bodies. Yes, let us be the sacrificial lamb. After we have done what needs to be done, and we keep an eye on that hypertension number, then we can now teach it to our families. We can now sit down as a family and discuss how this chronic disease called hypertension is a part of our family line. Not coming, let them know these are the ones that have it in the family. It's a part of our family line. This is what we need to do. And teach them how to prevent it from coming upon them and their family. You're talking about leaving a legacy, leave a health legacy for our children. Because yes, they can get all the money and the houses and everything that you might possibly want to leave them. But if they do not have good health, then it's to no avail. They're not going to enjoy it. Somebody else is. But if you teach them now and teach them to pass it on, they can enjoy a health legacy as well. 1.3 billion people worldwide have hypertension. Now, when you go to your physician and they take the blood pressure, it's 2 blood pressure readings that they are looking at. That's why it's important. They said take the person's pressure. They're looking at the systolic and the diastolic. The systolic is that top number that appears on the blood pressure machine. The bottom number is your diastolic number. Both of them numbers are very relevant to what's happening with your blood flow, with your body, with your heart. It's very, very important. The systolic number, that top number, it refers to the pressure exerted by the blood while your heart is still pumping. Okay, that's very important. This reading will indicate blood pressure at its highest while our heart is still pumping. That's that first number. Boom, 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 boom. It's going to give us the number on what's happening while our heart is still. Who in the heck was able to get in on my stuff? I can't seem to get this person. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear about that, Lakshay. You guys forgive me for that interruption. I have no idea who that person is that's calling me FaceTime, especially during the time of my program. I have no idea who they are, but they would know. You don't do that. This is more important. This is my God-given assignment. This first, you know. Oh, okay, sorry to hear that. Lakeisha Austin Map said, I just lost a dear friend to a heart attack. We send our prayers and our condolences to you from the Better Health, Better Me community family. We hate to hear that. We still have to stay on point with our health while we're here. You know, it's so prevalent. People think that it's, you know, COVID came and knocked a whole lot of attention off of the basic health issues that the world go through, that people are not conscious of that this thing is still going on. It was going on when COVID was happening. It was going on before COVID was happening. But they put so much focus on it that it took focus up off of ourselves. But we still have to do what we have to do to make sure that we can be healthy as we do live our life out here on earth. Amen. So your systolic number, that top number, talks about, it's showing the pressure of your heart while it's beating, the pumping, how it is while your heart is beating. And that's the pressure at its highest. That diastolic pressure, it reads the blood pressure when the heart is at rest. Here you go. In between the beats. That's how that's measured. It's in between the beats. And when the blood pressure is at its lowest. Now, both of them numbers are very, very important. They are very important to your better health, better me. Continue to listen. Blood pressure readings are written in a ratio of systolic blood pressure to diastolic blood pressure. Listen, both figures refer to the height that a column of mercury reaches under the pressure that's exerted by the blood. So when you see your blood pressure reading, you will see, like they say, the normal is 120, which is my systolic, over 80, that's my diastolic. That top number is telling me how my heart my heart is pumping, how the blood is pumping to my heart while it's beating, and then it's that diastolic number that now is telling me how it's pumping in between while it's resting. So this is going to give them a reading on how my body is being, the normal flow of my blood flowing through my body, how it's supposed to go. And then if you see, when you're looking at it, you'll see that the initial HG. The initial HG, when you see that, that's talking about the mercury. You remember, we just told you that the mercury is the height that a column of mercury reaches under the pressure that's exerted by the blood. So if you see that mmHg, millimeters, Hg means mercury, that's your reading. So both the systolic, and the diastolic readings are important. Neither one of them should be high. Neither one of them should be high. There is a cap number that our body should reach when it's doing the pressure. Now, people like myself who have hypertension, our numbers are high. Our systolic number usually is higher than it's supposed to be. And then when our bottom number gets high, then guess what? We're at a risk now for a heart attack or a stroke. So we have to be very careful if we already have been diagnosed as hypertension. We have to be very, very careful with the things that we do. And we're going to talk about that. I can't do everything in one setting. That's why I'm on 4 days a week, because God stretches that out so that I will be able to give you the information. Okay? So, and you can see I'm very serious about this thing here, because like I said, it's in me, it's in my family. So, it's a villain, it's an enemy. We got to halt it, right? We got to control it. The big C, control. And how we do it by gradually implementing the things that I'm going to discuss with you, and maybe you even taking a curious journey for yourself to find out, what can I do to get control of this high blood pressure, because I found out that it is preventable. All right? Don't let nobody tell you. Don't let nobody put you in no prison corner just because you know what? I heard I'm going to be on it all my life. I'm going to be on these pills all my life. Now, just because you accept that don't mean I have to. So don't go accepting everything that everybody else believe in their mind. All right? You got your own mind. Just don't accept everything. It's up to you. Now, you can accept it and just take a pill, eat how you want to eat, continue to live how you live it, and you expect that to come upon you. And it can come upon you suddenly. Bless God for Jesus. Bless God for Jesus. So now I explained them two numbers to you. Now you know what's going on with that when you go to your physician and you read it. And by the way, let me say this here before I'm showing you. By the way, every home should have a blood pressure machine. If you don't have one, start your little savings bank, because I know money is tight. And any type of spare change or whatever you get, you put it in that jar, or you put it in that box, or you put it in whatever you can put it in. And you price what the blood pressure machine costs. You can even ask your physician, what is the best machine that I can get? And then ask them, do you think my insurance could cover the blood pressure machine? Or do you all have a blood pressure machine that you can give me? There's nothing ever wrong with asking. Nothing. Because I know now how important it is to have a blood pressure machine in my home. Okay? I wanted to put that out there before we get going, because I only have 5 more minutes left, really 4. So let me get this off of here. People like myself with high blood pressure, what's happening is our heart is working harder to pump blood than a person who don't experience it. Our heart is working harder. I'm getting emotional. how some of the decisions we make or some of the things that come against our bodies can overwork our organs that God has given us. And because of hypertension, all of us that have it, we're working our hearts harder, which often leads to heart failure and stroke. Knowing them two right there is enough to say, how can I hold this back? What can I do to control it? What can I do to prevent it? High blood pressure is often associated with coronary heart disease, arteriosclerosis. I told you what that was. Hypertension is associated with kidney disorders. Obesity, there go that word again. Diabetes, I have that. Hypothyroidism and adrenal tumors. Look at all the things that it's associated with. That should make you want to get a hold of it. Wait a minute, look, Lakeisha just said something. You all right? Yes, just ask. I got mine from my insurance company. Well, look at that. Look at that. Listen. One of the young ladies that have visited our Better Health, Better Me community page, her name is Lakeisha Austin. I'm sorry for interrupting right quick because this is important information for you. You remember I said just ask. She said, you are right. Yes, just ask. She said, I got mine from my insurance company and heart attack. Thank you, Lakeisha Austin, for confirming that information. Thank you so much. I just believe if we ask, then you never know. We never know. Thank you so much. All right. Brenda said, thank you. Control is the word. What a blessing for this message you're sharing with us. God bless you also, Brenda. And you know that's what we have to do because we want to live a while. I don't know about you, but I do. We're not going to talk about the suicidal thoughts that was on my head years ago. That's for another day, but I'm glad that I didn't go through with it because I would not have met you. And I'm glad to know all of you all. Okay, let's finish this out right here. Okay? Hypertension, to show you the scary part about it. Hypertension often is asymptomatic. And you know what asymptomatic means? That means in the early stages, it have no symptoms. Simple as that. Asymptomatic means no symptoms. The thing is there, but you don't have no symptoms. Little tricky little booger, huh? Sneaking up on people, huh? But when we know that it's in our family history, guess what we are supposed to do? When we go to the doctor, we have them to keep an eye on our blood pressure. When we have our machine at home, because you don't want to put all the responsibility on the doctor, you take your own blood pressure and you document it in that journal I told you to have, that health journal I told you to get 2 seasons ago. That way you have also the information you need to take to the doctor with you. Okay, let me go ahead and finish this out with 1029. So hypertension is asymptomatic. Now some of the advanced warning signs include headaches, sweating, rapid pulse, shortness of breath, dizziness, and vision disturbances. When these things are coming upon you and you're noticing that they're on you pretty regularly, it's time to go to your physician. Or if you got your machine at home, take your blood pressure. If that thing is high, if your systolic is high and your diastolic is high, there's a problem. get to the hospital. Number one, you're dizzy, get to the hospital. Number one, your vision, you can't see either, because I have known blood pressure to get so high where it just took the person's vision. We're going to talk about that tomorrow because it's 10:30, and that's what it did with me. My thing had hit so high at the time I didn't know I had it that it literally took my sight. I spoke to another friend of mine yesterday, and she told me the changes that it did with her body. So we're going to talk about some of the changes that do with the body. We're not through with this here. We have to, now you remember, I have to get you to the point on letting you know now what to do to control it. We have to get there, correct? Right. So be with me tomorrow. I'm going to meet you, I'm going to meet you here, and we're going to talk about what it is that I need to control this high blood pressure. You go and you have an amazing Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Better Health, Better Me. Go to my website. Go to my YouTube channel. Check the letter N with Mama Wade, and while you're there, subscribe. Why don't you share this message? Maybe there's someone else that needs to know what we talked about today. No, thank you, Lakeisha, for coming on. She said, thank you for this beautiful message today. God bless you. I receive your blessings. Thank you very much for coming on. All right. God bless you. Love you. See you tomorrow.